Hey there guys, this is Obsidian Chill. Got another video for today. This is the second video in a series of the new 200 rank artifacts. The first video, which will be linked in the comment section below, was the tanking artifacts. This is the healing artifacts. Next will be controller, and then after that will be DPS. It's just, there's 22 artifacts. There's way too many artifacts to include in one video. It'd be like 2 hours long. So I'm breaking them up into each support role or each DPS role to cover everything here. Because even this video alone is going to be like 20 minutes. The previous one was like 20 minutes. So it's just, I don't want to make a super long video. So this is going to have all the healing artifacts tested at rank 200, the stats on them, and my summary, and basically showing you clips as well. So basically once all the artifact videos are done, like the controller and DPS ones, I will change the link comment to include all of them. So if you find this video, then you'll be able to find the next one, and etc. So if you have any questions or comments, put in the comment section below, and here are the healer ones. Hey there guys, this is Obsidian Chill. Got another video for today. This is the second video in a series of the new 200 rank artifacts. The first video, which will be linked in the comment section below, was the tanking artifacts. This is the healing artifacts. Next will be controller, and then after that will be DPS. It's just, there's 22 artifacts. There's way too many artifacts to include in one video. It'd be like 2 hours long. So I'm breaking them up into each support role or each DPS role to cover everything here. Because even this video alone is going to be like 20 minutes. The previous one was like 20 minutes. So it's just, I don't want to make a super long video. So this is going to have all the healing artifacts tested at rank 200, the stats on them, and my summary, and basically showing you clips as well. So basically once all the artifact videos are done, like the controller and DPS ones, I will change the link comment to include all of them. So if you find this video, then you'll be able to find the next one, and etc. So if you have any questions or comments, put in the comment section below, and here are the healer ones. Okay, so just to do kind of a brief overview of the healer artifacts at 200. If you saw my previous tank video, I'll briefly kind of touch on the differences here. So at 160, we're all used to about 680,000 XP. The XP for 180 is basically less than double that. So it's actually a lot better, because we thought, I may repeat myself here if you've watched each artifact video, but I'll kind of do like a brief one if you're just seeing this one. We thought it was going to be a lot worse. We thought it was going to be like double 160 would be 180, and then double 180 would be 200. So obviously this is less. That's almost double, but certainly the 200 XP is a lot less than double. It's only 1 million XP. So 1 million XP from 160 to 200, that's what it takes. The base stats for the Gemknight: 6,375 health, 6693 power. This is at the rank 200, so it is a pretty sizable increase on the base stats. Not that they're OP or anything like that. We'll get to the DPS ones, but for healer itself, there's not too much ones that are really that great for healing in terms of innate base stats. The catalyst system also had a complete overhaul. Before, we're used to like catalysts for like, rank 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140, 160 each rank. Now they're being condensed into 3 catalysts. So Denisium, Quantum Field Energy, and Paradox Force Energy. These ones are only to be 3 artifacts, so 3 catalysts. So 3 catalysts for every single artifact rank, every single breakthrough will require the same kind. So don't worry if you have a bunch of ones that are like meant for a different ranks. You can basically consume them, and they'll give you 10 source marks. And then these ones cost 10 source marks, so they work out even in the end. So even if you have a bunch of extra catalysts, they're not garbage. You just consume them for 10 source marks, and use the 10 source marks to buy ones that are right for you. The breakthrough at 180 is 5%, and the breakthrough at 200 is 3%. These ones are just forcing you to 100% use a seal of completion. It's if you have a membership, it's 450 station cash. You get 500 station cash monthly as a part of your monthly subscription bonus. But there's no way you're going to use your seals of preservation to get a 3% breakthrough and test that luck. It's not worth it. 100% need that seal of completion. The bonus rank on the Gemknight is 1% of the innate stats, so that's nice because it's 1% like might, prac, vit, resto, 3% on everything. And then, as you saw in the tank video, Standing Caster's Watch grants you 5% Dom, healing, and resto. So basically, if you're electricity healer and you popped your supercharge, so pop group transducer, your group transducer would be increased because your dominance and resto go up by 5%. So basically you have stronger shields, and also the healing formula relies on resto and dom as well. So basically you get, while in the 6 seconds that the Eye of the Gemknight lasts, you have stronger shields and stronger healing. So it is very nice at rank 200, and as well as the same effect where it gives supercharge to everyone else. So it's still a very nice artifact at 200 for healing as well. Start Fragment I know there's not too much to say on this one. It was a completely useless artifact before, and it's still completely useless. The orb really didn't change much. The healing pet lasts for 12 seconds, up from 9, so you get an extra 3 seconds, but really since the Acolyte pet heals once every 1.5 seconds, it's really an extra 2 heals from the pet. That's it for 1,000,000 XP, and then it resists most crowd control effects. So like you'll see in the video, other healers can comment this in the comment section below. In the healing that I had with the orb, because I used the orb at 120 since it came out for my healing guides, I never really noticed the pet being CC'd and not healing. Maybe that was just me, but maybe if there's a full-time healer out there that said like, oh yeah, the pet gets CC'd all the time. Well, now it resists most crowd control effects. I'm not sure how beneficial that's going to be because I never experienced it really, but it does. So is the orb worth 1,000,000 XP just to get that? Nope. The orb is already pretty good at 120 because it's only 50% of your priority heal, where the 160 version is 100%. So 160 is completely fine. It's not worth 1,000,000 XP to get that. That's not for sure. The Demon Fang, 1% extra prec on the 180 bonus, and then basically once again minimal increases. So 8.2% up from 7.4, so 0.8% increase, and then power return is 2.2% up from 2. So there's no way you're going to notice 0.2 extra power. So once again, 1,000,000 XP just for that, not so much. 160 is completely fine unless you really want those base innate stats, but that's a lot of XP you're paying for those base innate stats. Scrap the Soul Cloak, 180 stat is 1% health. So everything stays the same in terms of your supercharge regeneration and your max supercharge. That's still 27% and 22.5. But it gives you an extra proc which restores 7% of maximum supercharge after using a supercharge ability, which doesn't stack with the extended supercharge chest mod, which I'll show in the video clip, which is 5%. At the moment, it doesn't proc on Nature's Bug or Wolf form. Extended Supercharge didn't work either. They probably just carried over the coding, but I'm not sure if that's intended or not. We'll ask on the forums, but at the moment, Scrap the Soul Cloak is still very powerful, the way it works with Gemknight for healing, and there's not really that many great healing artifacts. Like the Orb is really good. Demon Fang, if you're trying to do a battle build, that's good. Star Fragment is garbage. Gemknight it's technically it's an artifact for everyone, but it's still really good for healings and tanks. The Soul Cloak is helpful because of healing. You're also using your supercharges. It'd be very helpful for water. Sorry if I just knocked my mic there if you heard that. But it's very helpful for water because water, the supercharge is only 30 seconds and a 5,000 because it's flooded power. So Scrap the Soul Cloak increase would work very well with water. The thing I don't have, a lot of healers use the manacles for the 10% cooldown on their shields. The manacle proc at 200 is absolutely worthless to healers, so there's absolutely no point of a healer getting a manacles to 200. Just leave it where it is, because the proc doesn't apply to you. So yes, the manacles is a good healing artifact as well for the shield reduction for shield builds, especially as for water or any other like Celestial as well. Celestial and water play off really well with the manacles, but absolutely not worth 200 because it's not going to do anything for you. So we'll jump into the videos here. Okay, so in terms of the Gemknight 160, you saw that's in the previous tank video. As a healer role, it's still going to restore 3% health and 2% supercharge every second, and it's still basically going to heal back for all the health that returned from Caster's Watch at the end of the proc. Still lasts for 6 seconds. The only difference is that new Caster's Watch proc, but we'll get into that if you didn't already see it in the tank video. Okay, you just saw what the Gemknight was at 160. We're in 200. If you saw my previous tank video, I went into an example there. It's the exact same for tank and healer role. It is very powerful, 200. Basically, besides what you're regularly used to, which is a 3% health and 2% supercharge every second, the regular support circle for Caster's Watch. And when it expires, it basically heals back all the allies within it for the max health that it was restored by. Standings in Caster's Watch, this is the new proc. Grants you 5% dominance, health, and restoration. So when you proc, like as an example, if I'm a nature healer and I use bug form, each time I proc bug form, I'm going to get 5% dominance, health, and restoration by standing in the circle. So dominance and health are going to be impacted not only by, dominance and resto are not only going to be impacted by your healing formula, but also by the shield formula. So if you pop bug, go into bug form. If you pop a Swarm Shield. Now that Swarm Shield is going to be stronger for the group. Yes, it's not an 8-person shield. If you're like electricity, group transducer, if you hit that, you're standing in it, then your group transducer is going to be stronger because that's going to be an 8-man shield, as well as you get the dominance and restoration boost. So it's a nice little upgrade from that for sure with the Gemknight. And the nice thing about bug form is, which I'll show later, Scrap the Soul Cloak and the extended supercharge mod don't proc on wolf or bug form. So you need Gemknight. If you're going to be a nature healer specifically, this is the only one that would apply to, but if you're going to be a nature healer using insectoid form, since you don't get the proc on that for Soul Cloak or the extended supercharge mod, you have to use Gemknight to get a little bit of supercharge regen back when you proc into bug. So that's very important to have Gemknight for that, and to take advantage of Gemknight's 12-second, or the 12-second cooldown on bug form compared to every other supercharge would be the 60 seconds. Group transducer, all of them were changed to 60-second ones, except Waters, which is a 30%, 30-second with flood of power. So just to show it here. Now, if you saw my tank video, I'm going to check again, but as a tank, it did not show in the control effects. It showed by health, which I should go into here. So basically, health is 63k, restoration is 15.7, and dominance is 11.97. So let's see, we got Gemknight on. Let's proc bug form. I'm in combat, so we're procking it. 66, dominance went up to 1254, restoration was 16.2, and I really don't think it showed in the control effects at all. Yeah, so that's Gemknight. So really, Gemknight doesn't change much at all, except you get that extra proc. So, Gemknight was already one of the most useful artifacts in the game, considering it works for just as well for support roles and for DPS roles. So if you had your Gemknight 160, you're definitely going to want to get that to 200, because it has, which you'll see in my DPS video, it also has some extra procs on the DPS side as well. The Standing in Pollux Gaze grants 5% might, stupid artifact scrolling system, grants 5% might, precision, and vitalization when you stand in it. So it's still very good artifact. This is definitely one of the best artifacts still at rank 200, so it's certainly going to be one that you want to level up for both roles, support and DPS. In terms of the Starheart Fragment, 160, using a group heal grants you and up to 7 group members health equal to 11.25% of your restoration, and that's it at 160. Okay, so you start the Starheart Fragment at 160. Rank 200, really no changes. You get the extra 1% restoration at rank 180. At rank 200, your group heal your group heal grants you and up to 7 group members health equal to 160 was 11.25. Now it's 12.5. So it goes up 1.25% of your restoration. So an extra 1% of your restoration. That's how much your health and the group members' health will go up by. So I'm in DPS gear because I don't have enough space even for another set of gear just on test server. So I'm only at 16,650 resto, so obviously not that much. You're probably sitting at like 25k resto or something like that on live server, but still again, it gives the pressure. So I'll go up here, proc the warrior. Just having doing some damage to me. So right now my health is 67,757, so 67, use a group heal, and that goes up to 69.9. So basically I get 2,000 health at my restoration, but still, even if you double this restoration, it'd be 4,000 health, so which is not. So are you going to pay a million XP for 2,000 health? No, you're not. The Starheart Fragment, now I keep attacking me, but the Starheart Fragment was useless before, and it's still just as useless. Don't invest anything in the Starheart Fragment. It's a terrible artifact, and that hasn't changed, especially at rank 200. Okay, so in terms of the Orb of Orion at 160, still the priority heal goes up by 300% power cost. Then when you cast a priority heal, which is your instant heal, it summons a Spectral Acolyte, the little pet, that does a priority heal up to 100% of your base priority heal every 1.5 seconds, and he stays out for 9 seconds. That's at 160. Okay, so you saw the orb at 160. Not all that much changes at 200. The Spectral Pet itself, or the Spectral Acolyte, still costs the same power cost by 300%. It still is 100% of your base priority heal, and still heals every 1.5 seconds. So if we look at what Blossom is normally, where did Blossom go? So Blossom's normally 250 power cost, which is about 6100 power and 0.5 seconds. So if I put on the orb, that changes it to 18,427 power and a 1.5 second cooldown with a 750 power cost. So yeah, it's an extra 12,000 power, which is the exact same before. 160 and 200, that'd be the same. It still heals 100% at 160, 50% at 120, and heals every 1.5 seconds. So really the only difference is you're paying 1,000,000 XP for an extra 3 seconds. The other effect, the Spectral Acolyte resists most crowd control effects. Now, I didn't heal all that much, but when I healed, and I always use the orb, and I didn't see the pet being affected by much crowd control. Like other healers can, chime in the comment section, but I didn't really see it. Like maybe if there's some like mass stun AoE, it would be affected by that, but I didn't see the pet getting like knocked around and CC'd the entire time and not healing properly. That could just be me. Other people can kind of chime in to see if that happened all the time, but at least at 160, it now resists most crowd control effects. But, this itself still works the same, so we'll go up here, proc the warrior. Hopefully it doesn't one-shot me. But we got Blossom out with the orb. Pet's out. It's going to last 3 seconds longer, and I'll still get the heal, so I'm still going to get the exact same heals. But I would at 120, no, sorry, not at 120, but at 160 comparatively. Can you proc your attack, please? There we go. Yeah, no, they don't really do enough damage to me to kill me here, but that's not the main point. But yeah, the Spectral Pet, exactly the same. So really the orb, I got knocked down. I don't know, it's tough to say. I can't say that this orb is worth 1,000,000 XP because you're only getting an extra 3 seconds of healing. And not even 3 seconds of healing, you're only getting 2 extra heals because it's 1.5 if you heal. So if you get 3 seconds of healing, that's 2 heals in 1.5 seconds. So 2 extra heals from the pet, and now the pet not getting knocked around and CC'd. Is that worth 1,000,000 XP? That's a lot of money and a lot of investment just for that. So I personally don't think it's beneficial. Even at 160, the orb is not all that much beneficial than 120. Like the orb at 120 is still very powerful. In terms of the Demon Fang at 160, every 12 seconds hitting an enemy with a weapon attack empowers your weapon, and then basically when empowered, your next 6 weapon attacks deal additional damage equal to 7.4% of your restoration, and restores power equal to 2% of your restoration. That's at 160. Okay, so you saw the Demon Fang at 160. The Demon Fang at 200, not much changes. The damage you deal to your primary target, it was 8.2% at 200. At rank 160, it was 7.4, so it's 0.8% higher. And the restoration at 200 is 2.2, sorry. And then it was 2% before, so 0.2 increase. So really, and nothing else changes at all. You get the higher precision stat from 3% to 4 at 180. But really, not that much changes. I can kind of go into a crude example of what the Demon Fang is. If you most likely already know about it, but if you haven't already. So basically, if I do, if I'm just doing Focus Blast, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So you saw those numbers there. 14, 3 on a crit, 14, 14, 3 in a crit, and 2.9 on a crit. So if I put the Demon Fang on, first we'll use a bunch of power so you can see the power return. So if I'm just going to empty my bar here. So now if I do it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7 for the last proc. That'll be there. So basically you saw the power that I got back, not a whole bunch, but it's still power helps. And you see the extra procs on each one. So you see Demon Fang, Sparking Target for 1405 when I hit it for 1595. Same thing, Demon Fang 1405, Demon Fang 1405. Obviously, my precision's really low, and because I'm a might spec technically, and I'm not even in healer gear, so my restoration's low, where you'd have like 20k. So obviously, the damage you're gonna get can be a bit higher comparatively as a healer, or if you're like a battle healing proper spec with like precision and everything. but that's just a kind of a brief overview of what the Demon Fang proc does. I will be doing a separate video in the future breaking this down in terms of battle healing, but this is just kind of like a quick run through what it is at 200. So basically the only difference is that you get a tiny little bit of power restoration, but obviously you're not going to tell the difference between 2% and 2.2%, and you get 0.8% higher, not even 1% higher off the damage. So is this artifact worth 200? And a million XP? Is a million XP worth that? No, I 100% don't believe so. This artifact, if you already have it at 160, it's going to be completely fine. It's definitely, there's not enough of an increase to warrant a million XP. That's for sure. And in terms of grab the Soul Cloak, this kind of fits under every role, healer, tank, troller, whatever. So we'll test this as well for the healing aspect of it. So at 160, each increases your maximum supercharge by 27% and reduces your cooldown ability by 22.5%, and that's at 160. Okay, so you saw the Soul Cloak at 160. At rank 200, the Soul Tap, which is basically the supercharged regeneration and the supercharged ability cooldown, stays the exact same, 27% and 22.5%. That doesn't change. What 200 grants you is a new ability, which is restore 7% max supercharge after using a supercharged ability. This does not stack with the Extended Supercharge Tactical mod, so that's what this chest mod is here. So Extended Supercharge, using a supercharge ability restores 5% of your max supercharge. This effect may occur only every 30 seconds. So that presents a couple of issues where, for one, since it was every 30 seconds, if you're running Soul Cloak, technically you can hit supercharge within every 30 seconds. So like say a controller using it, I can hit my Gadget's Battle Drone, I can hit it like every 25 seconds, 22 seconds. So I wouldn't get it on the second proc because it wasn't every 30 seconds. So now that alleviates it because there's no stipulation on this one. Also that the Extended Supercharge mod was 5%, where this is 7%, so you get an extra 2%. What it allows you to run is you can take off Extended Supercharge and run like Power Efficiency. Power Efficiency is very handy for healers because of the spamming of the loadout, as well as it helps you with the orb because the 5% reduction would apply on the 300% power cost for your priority heal. So that's nice as well. Or you can run other chest mods like there's the increased healing received by 2%, I think it is. That's not a big deal because that's healing you receive. But once again, it's up to your choice. It would just give you a little bit more flexibility. Now, I will mention, I'll show a couple examples here. Soul Cloak does not proc on Nature's Bug or Wolf form. So I'm running Insectoid form, which is 2,500 power cost or supercharge cost. It does proc on Speed Drain, which is also 2,500. So I'm not sure if this is intended or not, but that's the way it works. So basically what I'll do is, just so I can show you that I'm just going to reach enough to use the supercharge. Okay, so obviously I'm just at the 2,500 mark to be able to use it. I have Soul Cloak on. I don't have Extended Supercharge or anything like that. I don't have any head mod in for that. So if I use Bug form, you're going to see that I'm not going to get any sort of regen back. So if I go into Bug, as you can see, 0 supercharge. I got a little bit just for exiting Bug, but as you can see, that obviously I'm not getting 7% of my supercharged regen based on that Soul Cloak mod. So if you're a nature healer, may not be as beneficial for you. You can still use Bug form all the time because you're running Gemini, so you're still going to get the 6% supercharged return from Gemini. So you can always keep using your Bug form, but you can run Soul Cloak, or they may fix it. I'm not sure, but at the moment, just be aware that if you're nature, it doesn't proc on Bug or Wolf if you're DPSing. So let's get into an example of it actually working. Okay, so now I'm electricity, just to show you the actual supercharged regen for the 7%. So we'll get just enough to proc Group Transducer. Okay. And now you'll see actually chest mod, don't have it, just power efficiency on. So if I use it now with Soul Cloak, there's the 7% you get back from it. Which, considering it's a 10,000 supercharge, obviously it's not going to be a lot. You'd get more than that. You get a 13% because basically you'd be running either Gemini as a healer as well. So you get technically you run the head mod too. So you get the head mod back from Group Transducer, which would be 10% at 10,000. So that's actually 23% you'll get back. So you get 10% from the head mod, you get 7% back from Soul Cloak at 200, and you get 6% back from either Gemini. So that's what you realistically would be expecting, but it's just something extra. If you're running a supercharged build, as a healer, you'd be running Soul Cloak regardless. Is it the most important healer artifact to get to 200? No, because you could just, just as easily run the Extended Supercharge mod. So basically, as a healer, you have to decide, is Soul Cloak worth 1 million XP to get 2% Supercharge extra regen and to save a chest mod? And it's not like there's any really better chest mods for healers regardless. If you have a good troll, power efficiency doesn't matter anyway. So it comes down to it, is 1 million XP worth that 2%? So that's the decision you have to make to yourself as a healer.